Now let's get back to Phil Mickelson, shall we, who was accused of shameless hypocrisy during the news conference regarding comments where he described the Saudi Arabia government as scary and claimed he was only negotiating with them to earn leverage against the PGA Tour. While he again condemned their human rights violations, he wouldn't elaborate when asked what, other than the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, he actually was condemning.
I've said and done a lot of things that I regret, and I'm sorry for that and for the hurt that it's caused a lot of people. I don't condone human rights violations at all. I don't think nobody here does.
Can you just clarify what you're apologising for? Is it you're sorry for speaking the truth about the Saudis, or are you sorry for the shameless hypocrisy of taking their money anyway?
I understand that many people have very strong opinions and may disagree with my decision. And I can empathize with that.
I just want to ask on the decision, did you consult any human rights groups? And beyond Khashoggi, what are the human rights violations you're particularly referring to when you acknowledge those?
I think I've addressed that about as thoroughly as I'm going to.
Well, Phil Mickelson also repeated his decision wasn't motivated by gambling debts and that he and his family have been financially secure for some time, but it was vital to take measures to avoid threatening that stability.
I've been handling it for many years now. I mean, you're talking about something that was almost a decade ago, and look, me and my family, we've been financially secure for I can't even remember how long, but it was certainly going to be threatened if I didn't address this, and I did. I've had hundreds of hours of therapy, and I've worked tirelessly for many years, and I feel really good about where I'm at. And yeah, I'm proud of the work I've done. So I've addressed the issue, and will continue to do so the rest of my life.
Well, Dustin Johnson's decision to resign from the PGA Tour rules him out of future Ryder Cups. Mickelson maintains his position is different due to his lifetime exemption on tour. He insists he should remain eligible to be a future USA captain.
Just like the PGA Tour, the Ryder Cup has provided so many special memories, relationships, friendships that have been formed those weeks. That really have transcended and lasted a career. And I'm hopeful to be a part of the Ryder Cup going forward, but that's not the reason for me to maintain my membership. It's because I've earned it. I believe all players should have the right to play whenever and wherever they want, which is consistent with being an independent contractor.
Well, let's go live now, shall we, to Centurion, and Rob Jones is there for us. Goodness me, what an eventful morning, Rob. 30-minute news conference, virtually every single question directed at Mickelson. What did you make of how he handled it all?
Yeah, you're right, Rob. The other three players who were alongside Mickelson at that top table really didn't need to be there, because Phil Mickelson was certainly the main attraction here in Hertfordshire this morning. He's actually just stepped off the putting green behind me and gone onto the range just behind the stand here. But as you've seen from probably the chunks we've just played here on Sky Sports News, it was awkward. There were a lot of long silences where Phil Mickelson really thought hard about what he was going to say. And actually, there was a Sports Illustrated interview with the six-time major champion that was published earlier this month, and a lot of the answers he gave were pretty much word for word, verbatim, everything that he'd said in that interview. But it is very difficult for Phil Mickelson to sit there and answer any of the questions, particularly when you refer back to some of the comments he made in February of this year, where he said they're scary people. This is referring to Saudi Arabia. They're scary people to get involved with. We know they killed Jamal Khashoggi and have a horrible record on human rights. They execute people over there for being gay. Knowing all of this, why would I even consider it? Well, he's done more than consider it. He is here and he's going to play this week, ending a 4-month exile and his first tournament, ironically, since actually playing in the Saudi International. But he has made that decision to pick money over morality, and therefore there will be very little sympathy for Phil Mickelson when he has to repeatedly answer questions over things like Saudi Arabia's human rights record. He also wasn't going to be drawn on anything to do with the PGA Tour. He kept saying, I don't want to talk about that in public, and the inference would be if you hadn't been suspended or faced any sanctions from the PGA Tour, why wouldn't you just sit there and say it? There was very little clarity and a lot of questions that still remain, despite the fact, as you mentioned, Rob, that he spoke for half an hour this morning. There's very little to take from it that is clear and obvious, other than the fact that he does intend to play in that US Open at Brookline.